Alright, we're back. So we got our shift forks and our shaft. The big one's low gear, second gear, small one's third and fourth. So these here have shims up inside of here, so we can move this side to side to align it. So first thing you want to do is put these in, engage them into dogs like that. So that one just slipped right in there like that, no big deal. This one here, you want to slip it in. It usually goes in easier with the drive gear and with the speedometer gear in a way. It works better to have it engage in the high gear to get more room. Of course, right now it doesn't want to go that way, but bastard. Put it in gear, it'll move it. There it goes. So it's in a high gear, see now it fits in there nice and easy, no problem fitting it. So you can either put it in like this, or you can put it in there like this. So it should be the same way as what this one is. So if you put it in like this, when you put your shift fork shaft in the hole over here, it's fun to do with one hand, in case you didn't know. See how nice and easy that slides in now? Okay, if you go like that, if you look at these two here, see how they're different angles? That means someone did something wrong. Oh yeah, dumbass, the shift fork is in the wrong direction. See, it's going the same direction as this, it should be the opposite. So this should be on the inside on both, the nut should be on the outside on both. So flip it around. Like that, flip it around, put it across, gauge on the other side, there you go. See, now they are lined up with each other like they're supposed to be. Perfect. Okay, you got two little rollers right here. You gotta make sure you put those on there like that. If you put a little bit of goop on there, they'll stay on there. Just gotta have a little goop right here. Plus it lubricates them. Okay, they're on there. Okay, so now all you do is put your shift lid up on there, get things to line up. You can eyeball them in the middle there kind of right now. So it's in neutral right now. So if you slide the dog here over, put it right in the middle of two gears, it should sit about there. And see how much play you got and everything? You have to compensate for all that clearance. Same in high gears, a lot of clearance. Okay, our lid's over here. So we got to put this thing in neutral. Right now it is not in neutral. Looks like it's on third. What are we on? We're on third gear right now. I'm going to shift like that. So I'm going to do it with my hand. I always like putting the gasket on there too. Make sure everything's where it belongs. There's our new gasket. Use that. One gasket. Make sure you put the gasket on correctly. The offset's on this side on the front. That jacks the cover up so it won't drag on everything. Okay, put this thing in gear. That was the wrong direction. We're in neutral now. This thing should just drop right on there right now at this point. Just like it's made for it. I'm going to spin it around a couple times. It should be in neutral, which means I'm holding the sprocket, turning the shaft. Okay. Now if you roll this thing up nice and even, without jerking on it, you should have a pretty good idea where things are laying right now. Now right now we're using this as our tool. And right off the bat, you can see how I went way too far toward low gear on that one. And this one's really hard to see in there, but it looks semi-centered. You have to rotate the transmission until the sides of the gear line up with each other so that you can get a measurement. So if you look at the gap between high gear and the dog, it looks like it's a good 1/16 of an inch in there. You do the same thing on this side over here, which is hard to do with the camera because the camera doesn't have any light. There's light right there where I can see anyway. And if you look in there, it's about the same. So this one's not too bad. This one's way off. The problem with the setup is these rollers have clearance in here. We already know there's a lot of clearance inside the fork. And then everything kind of bows a little bit. So it doesn't really give you a real accurate number. You'd have to shift it through the gears a couple times and get kind of settled in, and then pull the lid off nice and straight. And try to do it like 2 or 3 times in a row without it doing anything, and see if it repeats the same number. If it does, you're probably pretty accurate on being off, or on in this case. So I just did it the one time there. I don't know where we're at right now, so we're going to go ahead and not do anything at all. Put it back together again and see what happens. So I'm going to go ahead and shift it. Okay, I made a gear change. We're in low right now. It should be second. There's second. And third. Go ahead and put it in fourth. Make sure it shifts all the way. It does. Okay, there's no fifth. Third, second, went right in, and neutral will be next. Neutral. Rotate it a couple times just for the hell of it. Make sure you turn the main shaft in the sprocket. That's 2 sets of gears are different moving. Okay, so everything's been moved, cycled a little bit. Let's pull the lid straight up as we can. I kind of slid over a little bit there, but I don't know if that affected it. It probably did. It looks like everything's too far that direction now. So all of that didn't work very well because I moved the lift. I didn't go up straight. Make sure the lid stays down when you do those shifts. There it is. Third now, back to second. Yeah, it didn't feel like neutral to me. That's a gear. There's neutral. Okay. Try to go straight this time and not slide it on us. Problem is the dowel pins are holding it, so you got to kind of work it up a little bit. Okay, if we're lucky we didn't move anything that time. And you can still see it's too close to low gear. And high gear looks to be about the same spot as it was. So it looks pretty even. It's hard to see with the camera though, but anyway, one trick you can do, you can put you can put the feeler gauges in there and try to measure it. You could use drill bits. You can do lots of couple different things. The thing is, as soon as you put anything in there, it's going to want to move on you. So you can't really hold it. So kind of gives you a weird number. So my guess is that side's not too bad. This one's definitely off a little bit. So this fork needs to go that way. And it's pretty consistent. It needs to go that way. Alright, so that's doing it that way. It's not the best way in the world of doing it, but when you got no tool, that works. And that tool's been back-ordered for months. So at least that's what a few people told me here in the last couple months. It's been back-ordered. So anyway, that's one way of doing it with whatever you got laying around. You just got to be careful. Do it 2 or 3 times without doing anything. If the answer is, if you keep getting the same repeated direction of air, you're probably accurate in fixing that. If it's moving all over the place each time you do it, it's not accurate. So try to do it 2 or 3 times and make sure you get the same result. Okay, I'm going to get out my other tool and I'll show you how to do it the real way. Okay, we're back. We got the real tool this time. So let's see how accurate we were doing it the other way. Now Dad always did it that way. He never had the tool. Worked good for him. Me, I didn't like the errors I was getting. It wasn't consistently staying the same every time, so I like being more accurate on the way I do things. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is get rid of this gasket. Don't need it now. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is set the tool up. So what I do first is I put the tool up on here and make sure I'm putting the tool on the correct direction, because you can put it on that way or you can put it on this way. Notice how that went right on that way and didn't do the other way? So this is the correct way. So make sure the forks are engaged in the tool. They are. So that is the correct direction. Yeah, one of these years I'm going to actually mark this being left and right, but yeah, I don't want to get too carried away in how I do stuff. So make sure you put the lid in the same spot where it belongs, same direction. So the tool just goes from here to here. No flipping around back and forth confusing you. Okay, so now we got our tool here. We're going to have to change our gear here, I know that for a fact. Okay, so just take the tool straight up, rotate, put it back down on the lid. Let the dowels go. It's assembled. You have an alignment pin, and you have your shift drum. Drops right in. You adjust this side to side, and that's how you adjust it. So right now you can see how this one lines up pretty close to what it was last time I used it. It's almost identical. Little pinch clamp right here, just loosen that up. If you notice it kind of centered a little bit. So even though it looked like it was centered, it moved. Okay, so that's right on that corner. Now if you shift it and go a little bit further, you can get on a different spot. Go to the next gear, that's how I like having it. So now I got a nice long gear slot. So now you can see I got more area now to make sure it's accurate. And so you can still have a little bit of movement. See, it's still a little jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. But you can kind of look at it and make sure you got it where you want it. So there's your error factor right there. So everything's got clearance in a little bit. So when you're in the right spot, it should just drop right in. See, right now it's not just dropping right in, it's because there's an error. That's why you need two hands when you do things. Also, right now gravity's hurting me, so I want to have this thing jacked up a little bit more even, so it stays, I'm not fighting it so much. Okay, so now it goes in nice and even. So it's not dragging anymore like it was. So I'm good. Me like. Okay, now I rotate the drum until I get the straight on the other side. So you go up in high gear. Now you put that one in there and you notice it doesn't drop in the hole now. See, this one's different than the last one I did. So when you put that over there where it belongs, see now it all lines up like it's supposed to be. And same deal, I'm binding a little bit because I'm trying to do things with one hand. I need both. A little closer, but stick a little binding on it. This one isn't quite as bind free as the other one, but it's as close as I can get it. It doesn't like this drum. The drum is not very square on this one. It's at an angle probably, so you're binding. So you check it here, or do you check it when you drop the whole thing in? Go ahead and hold it down inside the drum. We have almost no clearance. There's very little movement now for free play now. course, when you tighten it up, it locks it up even worse than where I had it. So this drum is not the best quality. That's why I don't like these stupid casted drums. They're not very accurate. It's even worse. Apply it so right down low it binds, but it is what it is. Go back and check this one. See, this one's still nice and good. Doesn't matter where we're at. This drum is made correctly. This other drum over here, it's at an angle or something's not right. Okay, but anyway, it's as close as we're going to get. So now you just pick it up off of that, go over here, drop it down on your gear, and you see what happened. So before we were real close to low gear, and now when you look at it, it pulled off the low gear a little bit. It's still too close to it, but it's not as close as it was. Okay, so you can see you got a big gap there, not much gap there. I rotate the tranny until all three components are lined up. Now what I always do is I take a screwdriver, probably the longer one here, and I go in there, I push on the gear dog, take all the clearance up. So basically, see, I almost touch, and I go the other direction. And you can see, now this is taper cut, so up here in the tip is what I care about. Rotate this way and get better view of what's going on. Yeah, it's not really lining up. There we go. So here's our dog. Just a little bit closer looking that time. I'd rather have it over here and see better, but I need two hands to rotate some parts to do that. And we got a call. I'll be back.